Okay, welcome guys. So this is Pycoders Academy, which we say a gateway to learning programming in this real life. Okay, so we have been treating this Python course with me, Faisal from Pycoders Academy, and I think you are loving this video. So if you like it, just share it with your friends and subscribe to my channel. Okay, so in our previous video, we were looking at the introduction to loops, where we learned about the types, how to use them, and we said the types are the for loops, the while loops, and the nested loops. And we said we will treat them in their own separate video. So we'll start with for loops today in this video. So sit tight and watch this video. Just be attentive. Okay. So today we'll be looking at for loops. For loops, as we know, are just like a loop or iterate. Like we are iterating, so you are using it to iterate over a sequence. So the sequence can be a list, it can be a tuple, it can be a dictionary, or it can be a set. So we are iterating over a sequence. Okay, so the sequence, as I said, can be a list, tuple, dictionary, or let's say a set, so something that can be iterated. So we will treat these topics today in this video. Okay, so let's start with this first topic. Okay, the first topic is looping over a sequence. So as I said, the sequence can be a list, so like a list of fruits. So okay, a list of fruits like this. So I have mango, then I have apple, then I have banana. The last one I have something like okay, grapes. Okay, so I have this. So this is a simple, okay, so this is a simple list I've defined here. So we are defining a list here and storing it in the list variable. Okay, so now we will use our for loop. We will use our for loop to get these values printed out. So let's say we want to print out all these values using for loops. How will we do it? We use the for loops, because the for loops over iterable list or iterable sequence. So this is iterable because we can take one and move to the other one, we can move to the third one, and so on. So let's use loops here. Okay, so the syntax is just do for, then the word you want to represent the values inside the list as. So let's say we want to represent the values inside the list as fruits. For fruit in, okay, in, then our variable will come in list, then I'll say colon, then okay, so for fruit in list, so the list variable, then I'll say just print the fruit. So the, okay, this singular, let me do it singular. So it doesn't matter, any name you wish to use, you can use it. Okay, so for fruit in list, print fruit. So we are saying for any character in that list, just print that character out. Okay, so let's run this code. Okay, so you can see the values inside the list are being printed here. So it takes the first one. So for fruit, so it takes for mango in the list, print mango. So then it will print the mango here. Then it goes to apple, then it goes to banana, then moves on to grapes. Okay, so it ends at where the list will end or where the sequence will end. So we can do the same for tuple. So we can just change this to a tuple like this. Okay, so then we just run this code. Okay, so we should get the same output. Okay, so we are getting the same output here. Okay, so you can see we are getting the same output here. So mango, apple, banana, grapes. So it's the same way. So once it's a sequence and it can be iterated over, then we can use for loop to get all the values inside. So let's do a practical usage here. So let's say I have values like 22, I have values like 66, 67, 89, 45 or 50, yeah, 56, 12, okay, okay, I have something like 41 and 33. Okay, so I have a list like this, and in our assignment, let's say we are told to get only the even numbers. So we know even numbers. Okay, it's so simple. We just sit down and think about it. So when you're a programmer, you just think smart. Yeah. So you have a list which contain odd numbers and even numbers, and we want to get only the even numbers. How will we do it? So okay, so simple. Even numbers are just numbers when we divide by 2, we get a remainder of 0. So we apply that knowledge here. So we know remainder in Python is just the modulus. So we just write a code for it. So let's say for number in list. Okay, so we are saying representing the character in that list with the number, let's say the number keyword. So for number in list, then if the number, okay, if the number is equal to, let's say, or let me do an int here. Okay, yeah, to represent a number. So if int of the number is equal to, or let me say if int of the number divided by 2, or let's say remainder, so modulus of 2 like this. So let's say the number and modulus of 2 is equal to 0, then we say we can bring an empty list also here. So list 1 here, then I'll say an empty list here. So that will collect all our even numbers. So then when we get the even number in this loop, then we just store it there. So we just do list1 dot append, then we say, remember this is the number we are using, so we put the number here. So number. Okay, so simple. Else then we can collect also the odd number. So let me do this even. So even, so let me change this to even. Okay, now move on to odd. So create odd, so an empty list for odd. Okay, so now I'll say else, so I'm just putting it there. So let's say odd dot append, and I'll say number. Okay, so simple. Now let me separate this so to make my code look good. Okay, so here I'm simply saying get the number, then find the modulus of that number, like dividing by 2, and what is the remainder of that result. And let's say if the result is equal to 0, just append it to the list, just append it to the even number variable or the list. Then if it is not equal to 0, just append it to the odd variable or the odd list. Okay, so let's run this code. Okay, so we aren't doing anything here, so we can just do print even, and we say on the next line we say print odd. Okay, so we have this. So let me run this code. Okay, so you can see it getting our even number. It's so wonderful. I love this Python. So you can see 22 is an even number, so it's here. You can see 56 is also an even number, so it's here. Okay, so the 67 is also an odd number, so it's here. 89, 41, and 33. Okay, so it's very nice way to apply your knowledge in Python. So you can do a whole lot of stuff with these 4 loops we have learned today. So it's very simple. Okay, so I think we are done with the first topic for this video. We move on to the next one. The next one is looping through a string. So remember I said something that can be looped over, or something that can be iterated. We can use a for loop for that. So let's say when we take a string like a banana, then we know the banana consists of many characters, so we can move on to from B to A to N. So that's iterable. So let's say a string is equal to, let's say, as I said, banana. Okay, so banana. Okay, so like this. So I want to use for loops to collect all the characters in this banana. I'll just do for, let's say, car. That is the character I'm representing in string. Then what? Okay, then I will say just print it out. So just print string out. Oh, no, just print ch out. Okay, so I'm done. So this will collect all the letters in the string var. So you can see BANANA. So it's simple, like just collecting all the numbers here. So it's very very great when you use those for loops in your code. Okay, so let me try and apply something here. So let's say uh so let me define something like letters here. So let's say letters, and I'll say the letters is equal to something like a list. We have A here, we have B here, we have, okay, sorry, okay, we have B here, we have C here, then you can say you have D here. Okay, so you have this. So you can, we are just using these four letters to do what you want to do. So let's say the user have typed something like 1 2 3, like something like this, and we want to get only the letters. So let me do something like so okay, so let me import banana n2 so that it will match. So, and okay, so I think we have all the letters here. Okay, and I'll put something like 7 8. Okay, so we want to get only the letters. Then after getting the letters, then we combine them to a word form. Okay, so then we just do, so if ch in letters, then what should we do? Then we should just create a list. Okay, so the list will just contain those letters we have gotten. So let's say let's say let is equal to, then we say an empty list like this. So for ch in letters, we just do let dot append, then we say ch. Okay, so you have this. So it collects all the letters inside the string we have defined above. So then after collecting this, then we just do, so this, when we do this, then it's outside the loop. So but if you bring the tab here, then it's inside that loop. So to get it outside the loop, you just like remove the indent. Okay, so then I will define something like, so I will join those letters I've gotten. So we know using the built-in methods, so that dot join for string. So I would say print, then I will say, so I'm joining them with just no space, so it won't like bring spaces between them, it will just bring them together. Then I'll say dot, then join, then I'll say I'll bring my list here. So let's, okay, so simple. Now I have this. So first I'm saying I'm defining these letters, and I'm saying string. I've defined a string here, a string which consists of a number and a letter. So I'm saying if the number here, if the letter here is like available here, then loop over this string, then collect all the letters and put it in the let variable or the let list. Then I'm saying join these letters I've collected. So simple. Now let me run this code. Okay, so you can see I have banana here. So simple. So it can be, when you use those for loops, you can achieve a very great thing in your code. So it saves you a lot of time by just doing something like so when you use for loops, it's very great. Okay, so we have collected all the letters and we have just combined them to a single word, and we have just printed it out. Okay, So simple. Okay, so we know how to loop over a sequence. We know how to loop over a string. So it's very easy. Okay, so now we move on to the else. Okay, so let's say we had something like, so for ch in string, so we said the else is only in conditional state, but no, we can also have the else in the for loop statement. Okay, so we can define else here. So the else will be printed after the for loop has finished running. So we can say print finished. Okay, so finished. Okay, so something like this. So let me run this code. Okay, so you can see finish. So after the for loops has finished running, then the else will run. So else print finish. So I've print finished here, and our banana, which we said printed like joining the letters, so it has been also printed here. So the else is used to let's say run your code, let's say after or shortly after the for loop has finished running. Okay, so simple. Now we know how to work with the else in the for loops. Okay, we go to the nested for loops. Okay, so the nested for loops is just a for loop inside a for loop. Okay, so I will say for something inside, so let me say uh, let me say something like I was working with something. Okay, let me do that example here. So okay, so I have this. So let's say I'm using only the latest list there, so I have that list there. Okay, so actually I was doing a practical project, and I have to print if, so those if, so I was just like typing them. So I felt bored, and I said I have to write a Python code to just do this for me. So I did it like this. So I just do for, so for this, for ch in string, then I'll say for this. So let me okay, so for, let me see another character again. So let's say for ch in, okay, letters here, so letters, then I'll say for ch in letters, then I'll say print. Okay, so print, or now it should be in the for loop. Okay, so like this, so print. Okay, so print print if. Okay, so print if a is equal to, then I'll say b. Okay, it should be 2. Okay, so like this. So let me remove this a and put something like curly braces. So f string here, then curly braces, then I'll say a, then curly braces, I'll say, oh sorry, it should be ch and chs. Okay, so here should be chs. Okay, then I'll move on to this. Okay, so I have this. Then I just did something like new line character. Then I said print. Okay, something like maybe yes. Okay, so I should use single quote since it's in a double quote, so I'll just use single quotes here. Okay, so simple. Now let me print this out. So this is a loop inside the loop, which is called the nested loops. Okay, so so you can see so for if a equals, okay, I didn't bring semicolon here, so let me run this code again. Okay, so let me run this code again. Actually my laptop is a bit slow. Okay, so let me run this. So you can see here, so if a equals a, so it will pick the first value and put it here. So pick the first value and put it here, then it will pick another value and put it here, then it will just put the a value here and put it here, pick the other one here and put it here. So it will run through all these values and go to another one and to use it. So that's, so for for the letter A, it will go through, so A, B, C, D. Then it will go through the B also, then it go through the C and goes through this. Okay, so simple. So you can have nested loops for your code. It's very simple. Okay, so you can have 3 loops in a single loop, or like you can have infinite. Okay, so we are done with nested for loops. We move on to range. So range is just, let's say, a range of numbers. So I can have something like a range 0 to 6 like this. So when we have a range, the last number isn't among, so it just collects the numbers inside that limit. So from 0 to 6, it will collect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6 won't be part. So let me just print range here. So print something like range here. So I should get 1 to 5. 6 shouldn't be part. Okay, so I think, okay, this shouldn't get you should get pretty here. So let me use it in my for loop. Okay, so for, let me say, for x in let's say range, let's say 0 to 6, so you should print the x 5 times. So just print x, so you should print it 5 times. Okay, so let me run this code. Okay, so you can see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it starts from 0 and end at 5. So that's the range. So it starts from 0 and it won't end at 6. It will end at 5. So that is range. It picks the values between our, let's say, our range. Okay, so we can also step over. So let's say we are moving from 0 to 6, but we want only the even numbers. Then we call it a step. So we just do comma, then two here. So we are just saying 0 plus 2, then from that number 2 plus 2, then 4 plus 2, then so on. Okay, so let's run this code here. So it collects only the even numbers. So 0, 2, 4. And we can change this to 3 also. So like this. Okay, so 0, 3. So it's so simple. Okay, so simple. So when using the range, we can use it in for loops. So we can use it for like getting a range of values from this side to that side. Okay, so simple. So instead of just writing from 1 to 10 in your code, we can just define an empty list here. Then we just append it to it. So from, let's say, 0 to 100 like this. So 100. Then you say list dot append, then I will say x, then I'll just come and print the list here. So print, okay, so print list here. Okay, put a bracket here, list. Okay, I'm done. Okay, so let me run this code. Okay, so okay, I didn't bring the closing parameters, so let me run this code. Okay, so you can see the number has been printed out here. So instead of you typing 0, 1, 2, 3, okay, and so on, you just do this to get your values. Okay, so simple. Now we move on to the break, continue, past, and in life. So break is, so quickly, break is just to break outside your loop. So let's say if x is equal to, let's say, 5, just break. So simple. So let me do something like list dot append, then I'll say x here. So it will collect only the first 5. So let me print the list here. Print, then I'll say list. Okay, so simple. Now let's run this code. Okay, so you can see only 5 is here. So if x equals 5, list dot append x, then break. So when x is equals 5, then it will just append the list. It will just append the 5 to the list, and it will break. When you have an empty for loop, you just use a pass to just pass it to the next loop. You can just pass it, then we use another loop inside that loop. So I have something like pass, then I'll say tap, then I'll say for something something, then we move on. Okay, so my laptop is okay failing me. Okay, so something like, and I'll say pass. Okay, so for something, then pass, then you define another loop. Okay, so simple. So when when you want to use loops uh in your code, you just know which one you have to use. So the for loop is just to iterate over a sequence, so it can be a list, a tuple, or a set, or dictionary. So we did these topics today, so I think you understand for loops now. It's very a great way to write your code. So just apply it in your everyday code and you will love it. Okay, so thank you for watching. We move on to the next video, which is the while loop. Okay, so sit tight, just subscribe to my channel and like this video.